Good evening, everyone. My name is Tina Blockberger. I would like to demonstrate to you how to knit. Although many may find knitting boring and that only grandmas sit around and knit, I find it fascinating to be able to manipulate a strand of yarn, or thread if you will, and incorporate it into an article of clothing, socks or blankets. Knitting is a technique of producing fabric from a strand of yarn or thread. Most histories of knitting places its origin somewhere in the Middle East, from where it spread to Europe by Mediterranean trade routes, and then to the Americas through European colonization. The earliest known examples of knitting have been found in Egypt and cover a range of items, including complex, colorful wool fragments and indigo blue and white cotton stockings, which have been dated between 11th and 14th centuries Christian era. Modern knitting involves many techniques, but I will demonstrate the basic techniques of knitting. Keep in mind that I'm combining some of my old techniques that I've learned at the very beginning, but the rest will be demonstrated, that I demonstrate will come from the book of materials that I've learned from. First I will show you how to create a beginning loop, and I'll come over here and take my chair back. Sorry. Okay, I'll begin with a ball of yarn. And this is the very beginning loop. Remind you, I'll be in a more comfortable setting if I was doing it at home. You take the yarn, you loosen on this side, and you loop it twice around your finger. You take this back loop and bring it entirely around your finger where it gives it a twist in the yarn. You loop it again. Oops. This is this loose yarn there. Bring it tightly over the finger, and it creates your knot, the beginning of your cast on, excuse me. Okay, you take the needle, you put it through the loop, as I just did here. Take your second needle, and you put it behind the needle in your left hand and through the loop. So you got it. You take the yarn that's attached to the ball yarn, you loop it between the right hand needle and the left hand needle, and you bring the right hand needle through the loop that's on the left hand needle. And you have two loops, one on each needle. Okay, you take the loop that's on the right hand and you'll place it on the left needle. And that's what's considered your cast on, and that's the foundation of your knitting. You'll do that again, and based on the pattern that you chose to do will determine how many stitches you need across your needle or on your cast on, which I chose 23. I chose a pattern that has, it's a 6-inch square. Alright, when we're done with the cast on, you should have a whole row of 23. And you'll count it. 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there's 23 there. Okay, when you're done, on your cast iron row, it'll still be over here on this hand because you're placing everything back on this needle. So you'll start on this side in your left hand. You take your right hand needle. You're basically doing the same thing you did on the cast on, but a little bit different. Take your needle on the right hand, place it through the loop in the back of the left hand needle, loop the thread between the two needles. It'll end up being on your right hand needle, and you'll draw it through the loop on the left hand needle. And it'll come over here onto the right hand needle. So you got to loop over there. You'll then bring that one loop over here, slide it down, and then you have a loop over here. Bring that through, and then slide that loop over here that was on your left hand needle off that needle. Again, you'll take your right hand needle, place it through the loop on the left hand, loop it over the right needle, right hand needle, spin the loop through, and you slide that one off. In the end, everything will end up on this right hand needle. You'll have nothing on this needle. Okay, I'll show you what the end product does for your first knitting line. Okay, that's what you'll do is you'll end up like this. And then you'll turn it around, put the bare needle on your right hand, have the work in your left hand, and you'll start over again using the same technique. I'll do this. I'll show you. Oops. It's a little awkward in this chair, so bear with me. And just slide it off that needle. Again, put your right needle through your left needle, behind the left needle, through the loop, loop over the right needle, and pull it through, and slide it off. Slide that one that you put the needle through off. Okay, you'll keep going until you get roughly around 30 rows, which if you gauged correctly, 15 stitches for 4 inches and 30 rows for 4 inches. And what you're trying to accomplish is a 6-inch square. It should be this. I've got 2 different examples. I left the excess on there because I'm going to create a blanket out of this, which you could use this as a pot holder, have the little tie-ins there to hang it, or you could combine it. If you go research and get more in depth into the knitting, it'll show you how to sew the pieces together to create a baby blanket. And other resources you could use the internet. It'll teach you the abbreviations to learn how to read the patterns. You can get free patterns on the internet as well as buy books and stuff through Walmart. And I actually learned how to knit through the book. I taught myself how to knit. So that's how I've demonstrated how to